he was the person who was thinking about Gatsby all those years later to write the story. So
Mm.
Jordan was just a beard. Hey everyone, I'm Karen Walby Solomon, and welcome to What's IGN Crushing On, IGN Africa's official entertainment podcast. I'm your host, and I'm joined as always by my producer and editor Rebecca Barches. So this is a show where we discuss all things entertainment and pop culture with a new guest every week. We bring recommendations, news, and fun facts, sometimes touching on the more serious issues surrounding these topics. This week I was joined by Zama from Starring Cupid podcast, which is an excellent South African podcast where they profile ships from film and TV, but she'll explain more in the interview. So in the episode, we chat about our favorite ships and we discuss some of yours too, for those that sent it in via social media. So thanks so much for joining us. Welcome. Hi Zama, thank you so much for joining me on our special Valentine's Day episode. So we're talking about fictional couples, and you have an entire podcast about fictional couples. So tell us about Starring Cupid and why you decided to start it.
Hi, Karen. Starring Cupid, it was kind of an overnight thing because I'd always wanted to start a podcast. That was always my thing because I'm too scared or like I'm too shy for YouTube. I don't like it when people can see my face while I speak. But I was really unsure about what I was talk about, and I'm not an expert in anything at all, and I don't like just talking about anything either. And I decided to kind of mix my love for movies and like TV shows and I want to say my obsession with fictional couples because they're great to talk about online. Like it's great that we have this kind of online community where we can ship people and we can discuss people, but I wanted to start something where it goes beyond that, beyond just saying, "Oh, these two people are cute." I wanted to actually look at them critically, I guess, but also in a fun way, just admire them as well.
Mm. So what kind of preparation do you do before the like each episode?
I mostly just Google a bunch of stuff. I call it research on the podcast, but it's Googling, it's going a lot of time spent on IMDb where I just look at how certain productions started, like who was in charge, who's behind the scenes in terms of
Mm.
directing, writing, why they chose the people that they cast, or where has this actor been before, and is this different for them, and all that stuff. Sometimes some episodes will call for me to do just a little bit extra if I'm maybe dealing with something I don't know, or if the couple in question deals with something I would like to talk about on a broader scale. Then I'll go and I'll look at articles maybe, or I'll look at what people online have said about certain things.
Mm. So which episodes have been like the most fun to research?
Oh, most they're okay. They're all pretty fun. If I personally love the couple, like I like all the couples that I speak about because
Mm.
obviously I picked them. But I think my favorite part of researching is going through the trivia tab on IMDb, and you
Oh,
find
the
all the
best.
wrong things. You're right. Like you find out like odd things, but they're so fun. And I think for me, my favorite must be uh Clementine and Joel, the episode on Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, because though it is one of my favorite movies of all time, I there were so many things I didn't know. They told me about the fiance, Joel's fiance that we never see. They told me
Yeah.
about the possible ending. And I was just sitting there like, what? This could have been a completely different movie if all of these things weren't left out.
Yeah, no, like I tweeted you after I listened to that episode and I was like, you made so many valid points. But I was laughing so much and you were like, Elijah would have been creepier. And you're right,
But
like commit to your creepiness.
I went back to listen to that episode. I was like, okay, yeah, I did it. Because honestly, if you're going to be underhanded, if you're going to pull such a creepy scheme, at least succeed. I think I was more upset with him messing up than him doing it in the first place.
Yeah, he had the blueprint ready. Like he knew
Ah, all you
exactly
had to
what
do
he
was
had to do.
follow.
Exactly.
Such a waste, man.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the podcast because I legit like I think that being a shipper is like 90% of my personality. So I was like I will like this is not something I'm proud of, but like I will watch something and like if I don't have a ship, it's just it's not the same for me. Like
I
I
get
was
that.
talk- I was telling my friends I was watching the cartoon of the Winx Club for the first time because I think I'm a
Yes.
bit too old for when it came out. And I was like, I swear I'm not even done with season one and I have like a ship and I'm like stressing about the ship, reading, finding fanfic, and I'm just
Yes, that was my entire high school experience. Is you like a couple, you go on Wattpad and you find the first fan fiction.
exactly. And if fanfic has been like such a I don't know, it's such a great like addition to like to fandom life like and like
Mm,
and most of the time like you know you don't realize like how much is left out until you read fanfic like I've read fanfic about like couples like doing domestic stuff, man. Like stuff like washing the dishes. And I'm like, you would never see that in the movie in the show. But I don't know why I needed it that specific day.
yeah,
But what do you think?
definitely.
Like I know you said like you know there's a lot we can discover about ourselves or about like you know why we like certain ships. So what has been like some of like the biggest discoveries that you found?
This is I found this out pretty early on when I was like drafting the podcast. I had to think about couples that I wanted to feature, and your mind immediately goes to, okay, which couples have I liked so far? And it was a painful
Mm,
discovery, but a necessary one that I tend to like couples where let's say the male love interest is like mean or they're not the nicest guy in the beginning, and then they kind of morph over the course of the
mm.
movie or the show, and they become better. But that said a lot. It felt like it was saying a lot about me and how I feel about men. And I was like, do I do this? Do I like gravitate towards mean people because I'm like, oh no, but he's gonna get better. Which was that was a hard chat. The day that I had to like have that chat with myself, I was like, wow, okay. And I want that. I
But
want that for people that listen or like watch things. I want them to like look at fictional couples, not to
mm,
ruin the fun, but to kind of go, why do
I
you
mean,
like this? Like, yes, you like it, but why do you? Even if that means you're gonna have tough conversations with yourself, it's fine. Have those conversations.
I like I've been thinking like well I have been thinking for a while and I was like what is the trend in the couples that I ship? And it's always
Mm.
like okay not always but a lot of the times it's like the girl is like the side character. So she's like either the best friend of the main girl or she could be the main girl but she's like one of the like not cool girls. And then the
Ah.
guy is like either also like a bit of like a bad boy type, but he notices her when nobody else does, and
Oh my
he
god.
and but he's always willing to like criticize her and help her become a better version of herself. It's always that thing. So I was like, do I see myself as like a side character? Number one. And number two, why am I always attracted to these problematic people? And why am I waiting for somebody else to notice me when I should be validating myself? And it's very deep
See, these are the hard
conversations
lessons.
to to think about. And I'm like, But I mean, but that's the truth of like any form of media. Like what you like can say a lot
Mm,
about you and either where you are at the moment or where you intend to be. And like acknowledging that within yourself can help you to grow.
mm.
Um
I think when it comes to like romantic comedies or anything that's kind of romantic, I think I'm generalizing here. I think people don't think about that. They are movies where they'll feel stuff or they feel moved and it makes them think. And those movies are usually like dramas and things like that. I don't think
mm,
people think that they can learn anything about themselves through romantic comedies. And like just from what we've both been saying, you can clearly learn a lot about yourself. Like aside from them being cute and like these things that are supposedly watched by women only, there's a lot that can kind of change
mm.
about you after you watch them. As corny or as cutesy as they are, there's that thought process, there's that realization that comes with them.
Yeah. So on that note, let's go into what your top five ships are.
Yay! Can I be sorry? This was so difficult. Oh my goodness, this was so difficult.
Oh, I know. I did it myself, so I know that I've still like overlapping or PS
It's
ones. So
it's the deciding. It's the process of elimination. Like I started with
mm,
maybe 10 or 9 options, and then I was like, okay, who here do I actually care for that much, or who do I just think? Because some of them, I think they're on here just because I think they're pretty together. Not more that I like them. More than I just think they're very cute, and beautiful together.
oh no, I
Um.
get that.
So my first choice is obvious if people have listened to like the first season. Tiana and Naveen from Princess and the Frog.
Mm.
Because
I've never
I
seen
I
Princess
know
and the
I'm
Frog.
old. I know I'm old. Like people are gonna say, why do you still love Disney princess movies? I know I'm old, but there's just something so wonderful about some of them, and this is one of those movies that I really liked. They're cute. They're very funny. They're very goofy. The journey that they go on, I thought it would be a damsel in distress kind of thing, or maybe or the woman helps the man prevail kind of thing. But actually,
Mm.
they both help each other to like a great extent, so that adds to their appeal as well. And then visually, they look beautiful. They both like individually well drawn cartoons. Yeah.
Who would you cast in the in a like a live action remake?
Okay. Do you watch How to Get Away with Murder, or have you seen
I
it
do,
before?
yes. Ah, yes, I know you're gonna say.
Listen, guys, if it's not, what's her name on the show? Is it Michaela?
Michaela,
Michaela.
yeah.
If not her, who
Ah,
else? She
ah.
literally looks like Diana. I don't know if she can sing. I'm not sure about that, but we can work that out later. But right now, visually, she looks like her. She has like this princess way of talking and like walking that I really like about her. And then for Naveen, there's I don't know what his name on the show is, but Rome Flynn, he comes in like later. He felt like a replacement for Wes almost.
Yes, yes. He
Because I
also
know
had a
he
romance
and
with her.
yes. Oh, you see, that's why it makes more sense even. I know he can sing. I'm sure he can dance. And he like his presence online and even in his roles, he seems like the charmer and I was like, oh, and he's half Puerto Rican, which kind of adds to like Naveen's I wanna say his exoticness, but that sounds so weird. I thought about this. So yeah, those two are my top choices.
Perfect.
And my second couple, also an obvious choice. A few of these are obvious because I've done episodes on them, but like literally they're my
Mm.
favorite. I can't do anything about it. But my second option is Sally and Harry from When Harry Met Sally.
Oh, yes.
They're just
Ma-
ugh. I usually don't like. friends to lovers because life doesn't work like that.
Mm.
But with this movie, I was like, no man, this is great. I love their on-screen chemistry. I think Meg Ryan is like the queen of 90s rom-com. Billy Crystal is hilarious, and they came together and they made a feel-good movie where it feels like I knew both of them. They were fully rounded people, and then they got together, and yeah,
On the side.
yeah. The romance was. I know it was like the seller. It was the main thing that we were meant to focus on, but it came so late, and it was kind of like left to the very end, which I really enjoyed.
Mm.
And then my third, also from the podcast, from Schitt's Creek, David and Patrick.
Oh my gosh, I'm actually only watching Schitt's Creek for the first time now, and like I can't even deal with how adorable they are. When Patrick sings to him,
They're so cute. Oh my
oh my
goodness! Like
god,
I before Patrick showed up, I already loved the show just because of the roses. And
mm.
like when I mentioned them, I also love Alexis and Teddy with all my heart. But
Yeah, they're so cute.
so there's something so cute about David and Patrick, and I think it's because when I was researching for the episode, I found out that Dan, because he's like the main writer for the show, he kind of
Mm.
wanted to create a space where there was like no homophobia. I know that it's kind of wishful thinking, or it's kind of unrealistic to imagine that there's no homophobia in this town. But I think it's fine on TV shows because sometimes people want to escape. Like people watch things to escape. So it's nice to just
Mm.
see two queer men just love each other and then there's nothing else to worry about. And oh, they're so cute. They oh my goodness. And it's cute because it's mostly cute because they're not trying to change each other in any way. Like even though Patrick is
Mm.
completely different from David, they just they just there to support and love each other in the form that they're already in. And I think that's super lovely to see for queer people. It's super lovely to see just on television as well.
Yeah, it's also just like seeing just that look that Patrick gives David whenever he's doing something like say something crazy. It's just so like puppy dog and so like in love. Oh, I can't deal.
All the
Can't
time,
deal.
like oh my goodness, Patrick. Like okay, they love each other, but Patrick loves David.
I know. Oh, I can't deal.
Tell me when you get to the end. Oh, that's when we can discuss something. I almost spoiled for you. Please tell me when you get to the end.
Okay, I will. I'm like on season 5 now. I watch
Oh,
with
you're
my
very
nephew,
close.
so like I can only watch whenever he can watch. So
Does he
and he had
like
like
it?
matric exams and stuff, and it was yeah, no, he likes it. He
Uh,
finds it really funny. Yeah, he had like matric exams, so I had to like wait like all the time, and like now he's like working and stuff, and I'm like, oh, can we just watch?
hey
But
man.
yeah, but yeah, I'm in season 5 now,
Okay.
and I love
No, you're close. You'll get there. They will chance. Um. Okay. So my fourth pick is it's kind of a nostalgia thing, but also I do genuinely love them. It's Morticia and Gomez Adams from the Adams Family.
it. Mm.
I used to religiously watch the cartoons. Like I even learned how to snap the tune of the thing. I was one of those children that was very into them. And then the live actions came out, and it was before a time when people were ruining live actions. But the two live action movies that came out in like the 2000s, they were also really wonderful. And I really liked, even as a child, I really liked the fact that again it was this married couple that was just very much in love, very much obsessed with one another. Like Gomez, oh
Mm.
my gosh, Gomez thinks the world of Morticia, and he makes sure that you know it every single time, every single scene.
Ah. I read somewhere once where they were like, because they subvert every trope, and like the trope of the
Yeah.
times was that like men hated their wives, and so his character absolutely loved his wife, and it's wild. It's wild that that is
It's
supposedly a
so weird.
weird
Like,
thing.
yeah, like people in their town and stuff would like judge them because they're weird and stuff. And then it turns out like they were kind of the best people there, just because they were not subscribed to these like norms that people had. Yeah, sure, maybe the children wanted to like decapitate things from time to time, but they were nice people. So yeah, I love them. Love the live action cast. The chemistry on screen was also really great.
Mm.
The cartoons obviously were great. I haven't watched the recently rebooted one because I refuse, but I'm upset that they got Charlize Theron and Oscar Isaac, and you can't even see them together. You must just
I
hear.
hate that.
I was so
Ugh.
mad. I was like, you guys got the perfect people to do this, and we must just listen to them. And the animation is hideous. Oh, the
Oscar
animation
Isaac
looks
is
like,
so perfect in that role.
oh,
Oh my gosh.
he's perfect in general. Oh my god, can you imagine him with the thing, with the whole Gomez look, and with the slicked back hair?
Oh, he would be so perfect. And he's
We
got that
were
sort of
robbed.
charm as well.
Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. No man, we were robbed. I'll never forgive him for doing that to us.
It's like when they made Donald Glover Spider-Man, but only in animation.
Ah, they
It's
had
like
a perfect opportunity.
exactly. Ugh. And now we're still old.
And then and then when they put him in an actual Spider-Man movie, he's just a bad guy that shows up for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. He
But
was he's Miles Morales' uncle. So if they ever so
mm,
there is a so if they ever do Miles in like in the MCU, they could maybe use him again, but still like
the chances are so small. Cause you know what they do, you know how they are. They'll never do things for us. They'll do things for money.
so true. Nope, they won't do things for us.
Mm, okay, and then my first choice was hard because it was between three other couples, but I really I like them so much. It's Sheila and Joel from the show called Santa Clarita Diet.
Mm. I've never seen that. Is that the Drew Barrymore show?
Yes, it's Drew Barrymore and Timothy Olyphant. I'd
Oh, he's so
also
hot.
never seen it. Right. I didn't even I liked him, but I didn't really like watch his stuff that much when I started the show. I was purely there for Drew because I've been in love with Drew Barrymore since even since yeah. There's no time. I just grew up deeply in love with Drew Barrymore, and I remember it was one of those things I started watching during the first lockdown. You know, when people were just watching anything just to try it
Mm.
out. So I did, and it's funny because I have an irrational fear of zombies, and kind of the whole show revolves around how Drew's character Sheila, how she deals with suddenly becoming a zombie. So that was hard for me to watch for like the first three episodes. But if you ever do get to watch it, I think it's so lovely because it's hilarious. The jokes land every single time, and also just Sheila and Joel and their daughter. They're just a great family. They're very loving. They're very supportive of one
Mm.
another. Like they have to be supportive when the mom is now a zombie. And Timothy Oliphant's character, I think I've said this on the podcast before, but I have a thing for good husbands in TV shows and movies.
Mm.
Like when a man just loves his wife and loves his family and takes care of them, I'm just like, yes, that.
Yeah. Give us more of
Eh,
that.
Oh, and he's one of the best. He's one of those very good, very loving, supportive husbands. It does help that he is as handsome as he is, but I just love him. I love them together, and I'm sad that the show was cancelled, but that's Netflix's whole thing, is canceling things while they're still nice.
Yeah, at least I like it when they give a show like, maybe just a couple of episodes to end things off. Like,
They
don't be
never do
outright
that
canceling things.
anymore.
Like, yeah, just don't. It's not cross now, but
It's like give a show. I think I've said this before online. If you're going to cancel a show and there's nothing we can do about it, fine, we'll let it go. But please give them a chance to close it off. This thing of
mm,
shows ending in kind of like a cliffhanger or with like unanswered questions really breaks my heart.
yeah, no, I get you. I get you. That is so true.
So
So,
yeah,
okay.
that's my top five. I wanted to mention Laura Gina and Peter Kavinsky because anyone who knows me knows that I stand them really hard.
Oh,
But I'm waiting for the third
me
movie to
too.
come out before.
But you've read the books, haven't you?
I have read the books, but you know how they can ruin things with movies. And
Oh
oh
my
my
gosh,
gosh, can I please tell you, I ignored the third book after I read the second one. It was last year, no, not last year. Wow, 2019. And then I started reading the third one, and then I stopped because things were getting too real, and I literally stopped reading. I ignored it for a year. But then now that I saw that the third one's coming out, I was like, okay, now I have to read it. So I'll give them time.
uh, no, I agree with you. Like, oh gosh, I was obsessed. Like, I watched that and then watch it every day. The first movie every day for like a
Because
week,
it's
and now
good.
it's sort of like I watch it. Like, I don't. I tend to not really. Well, lately I haven't been rewatching stuff because I just don't have time.
Mm.
And now what it's like, and now but that, even now, I think a couple of weeks ago I rewatched the first two movies again because I was just like, I need to refresh my brain, but also the first movie gives me so much happiness that I can't not watch it. But I mean, I just think that that couple were, I mean, and for a high school couple also, you know what I mean, like they
Yeah,
just they just and I know they
like
tried to
Laura,
make it more
Laura Jean
real.
as well. She was just like, I don't want to say revolutionary, but she's different from the other kind of high school like
Mm.
teenage girl movies we've seen. And Peter Kavinsky is amazing. So I understand. I understand.
Ah, and just like the small things about the character, um like like I always think about the scene when they're in the diner for the first time, and he looks at the like the waitress's name, and then he says her name. He's like, "Thank you, Mary," and I'm like, "Oh, what a like the bar is literally like underground," but I was
Underground.
like, "What a kind gesture!" Oh my word!
Every no, Peter was a kind boy. Like yes, the bar is underground, but we're not exaggerating when we say Peter is just he's so nice. The way he is with Kitty warms my heart.
Even like incoming when when they're
Oh
pillow
my god,
fighting. Oh my gosh.
so much cuteness.
Oh no, no, that Peter and Laura Jean are just my favorite. And I do think like we liked Noah Centineo for like so long after that, and it took a while for that shine to be like he's not actually Peter Kavinsky. He's just an actor who was playing a role, and shame.
Yeah,
But I
I'm mad
mean,
that now they're taking our love for Peter Kavinsky and thinking, oh, that means we must put Noah in everything. It's like, no, that's not what
I
we
don't
meant.
understand why they don't think put um put Laura. Why can't I think of her name now? The actor who
Lana
plays Laura
Condor.
Jean. Yeah, why not take it as put Lana Condor in everything?
Seriously, like,
Because
because we
we
love
loved
both
her.
of them.
Yeah, but
But
only he got like this amazing, like he was now all of a sudden in Netflix's like in a gang. and she's
When
just like
they
only.
put him in the new Charlie's Angels, I was like, I understand why you guys did this, but this was very unnecessary. I love him, but he didn't have to be here.
And then shame he had that like string of like teen rom-coms after To All the Boys. And then people were like, do
Yeah,
we only like him when he's with Lana Condor? What is this? A shame.
I think that might be it. I think I might only I think I might only like him then. Cause okay, but in his defense, the other Netflix movies that he's been in are not great.
Mm, that is
There's
true.
always there's always like something. There's always I remember what's it, The Perfect Date? I think that's what it's called. I was
Mm.
like, this is not for you, my baby. Like something else.
Uh, it is, yeah, I know. I agree with you. Like, there's maybe he just hasn't found good material since, and
Yeah.
where you can use like that was good material, and he played that role excellently.
Hmm.
But oh yeah, okay. Wait, let me say my five. So
Yeah.
I'm because I'm so old. Mine might be like a little bit outdated, but you know. So my number one is like Klaus and Caroline from the Vampire Diaries.
Okay.
Like
Yes.
I was obsessed. Like I don't think anything in my life will ever compare to my Klaus and Caroline obsession. Like so I don't know like I don't know how much people know, but I wrote fan fiction. I had like I have a whole community of people that I know. I created a fan magazine
Oh
that
my
ran
goodness.
for years with daily articles, but different people
Oh
wrote.
my
But I mean,
goodness.
like I organized it. I was that deep into it. So I love
That's
them
interesting.
because like yeah, it was crazy. Um, no, I really love Klaus. I like a delicious villain, and I like that he
Mm.
was just like this one note type evil guy. And then they were like, you know what? Let's see what happens if he likes like this one side character. And
Mm.
I like I like something that surprises me that I didn't see coming. And this just surprised me. And I also thought that they were like their best selves with each other. Like they
Mm.
constantly challenged each other, and like obviously now looking back, I'm like, he's a 1,000-year-old man and she was a 17-year-old girl. This is extremely problematic. but back then, I didn't think much about it, and I do think it was the dynamic between the two of them,
Mm.
which I really liked. And then,
And Klaus is he's kind of a, I want to say he's a tough cookie because it's hard to get to into his like, I want to say his heart. He always
yeah,
keeps to himself, and so it's nice to kind of see someone kind of break through all of that.
yeah, and for it to be like this girl, it's like this Elena's friend who was constantly like never anyone's first choice
Mm.
except for Klaus's. And a Klaus who was seeing like 1,000 years worth of women or people. Like, I mean, let's be real. Like, if he was, if you
Yeah.
live 1,000 years, you're not going to be straight. But but
True.
but yeah, 1,000 years worth of people, and he still chose this girl who everybody else overlooked. Like you see
Yeah.
my what I said about me realizing things
Yes.
about myself. But you see it coming in. But like, yeah, it's like I think that's what kind of made it special. Like it was
Mm.
like, what the um but yeah, my cousin was watching Vampire Diaries recently and she was tweeting about it. And then I saw she said, like, this Klaus and Caroline thing, it really came out of nowhere. And I was like, it really did. It really did. Like, I
Those
would
are the
never
best love
predicted that.
stories that just come out of nowhere. All of a sudden, people are in
Exactly.
love.
And then my second one is actually from Harry Potter, and it's Professor Lupin and Tonks.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought you were going to say Hermione and Ron.
Oh no, not Hermione. You know what my Hermione ship is? Also not um my Hermione ship is actually Hermione and Crum
The
because
Serbian.
yes, I like
Okay.
I like it's the same sort of vibe with the Caroline thing. Like he also like he was this famous international Quidditch player, and then
Mm,
and all these girls were fawning over him, but the one girl he noticed was Hermione, and
I
everybody
get
else treated Hermione like shit, and he was like, you know what, she's worth it, and yeah, I really like that. And then
that.
yeah, so mine is Lupin and Tonks because I don't know why actually, but I think this is my first one I got super invested in. It was just like a really in the background like couple that just
Yeah.
came out of nowhere also. And then I think I was so interested in the fact that there was a whole other life happening outside of Hogwarts and outside of Harry and his world. Like there were
Mm,
people, like they were falling in love, they were breaking up, they were doing different things. And I was just very intrigued with it. But then I think I also like because I read a lot of fan fiction and it sort of like warped in my mind. But for me it is just like I thought it was such a beautiful like story. I mean, there's Lupin who he thought he could nobody would ever love him because he has this condition. And then there was Tonks who could also change herself at will, who was young, who could probably also have gotten anybody, but for her, like she saw his good heart and she wanted to be with him. And
mm,
then like I just thought that that was so beautiful, and it was just tucked away like just mentioned in like one line or two lines. And also another thing that caught me by surprise, like when I was reading the books and then she like burst out that she was like, I want to be with you, and then he's like, but we've spoken about this, and I'm like, what the, I think I had to read it a couple of times because I didn't understand like what was going on there. So yeah, it was that one. And then my third one is Michael and Mia from the Princess Diaries.
oh my
Um,
goodness. Oh my gosh. Another
so
woman
I
that I
was
was
like,
obsessed with growing up.
yes, oh, I love Mia. Um, and like, and the movie with Anne Hathaway was just like perfect. The first one,
Yeah,
and the second
yeah,
one was good too. But like, I don't see it as like as a canon story. But
yeah.
I used to read the books as a teenager, like religiously, and I don't know. I was just like the one thing I always liked about Michael was that he always called Mia out, like when she was acting up, when she was doing something
Mm,
that was like he always called her out, and he was always like himself. Um,
yeah.
and obviously Mia was changing and growing. And then I don't know, there was just something about them that I just loved. And there were books where they went together, and I was like, ugh. And then in the end, they like ended up getting together, and I was like a grown ass woman by the time they got together. But but I just thought it was like really special.
I
And
always
then
liked how. Oh, sorry.
no, go on.
I always
I was
liked
gonna,
how it felt like, in movies like this where the main character goes through like a major transformation the way Mia did. It
mm,
always feels like it irritates me when people that she liked only notice her then, and it felt like Michael had noticed her from the jump. It's just that she's the one that
yeah.
also didn't get that. Oh, maybe he likes me, and I really like that about him. Like he's always been there. It didn't take the transformation for him to wake up. He's just always been there.
Oh, I love it. But also what you were saying, like I also what you were saying about Harry and Sally as well. I'm like, I don't usually like the friends to lovers thing as well. Because I always feel like if someone was your friend, you've already sort of like disqualified them in your
Yeah,
mind. So like I feel like you kind of like, worn into being in a relationship with them. And I mean, no, it's not true always. Like sometimes you are attracted to somebody, but just not the right time or something like that.
yeah.
But with them, it also like, maybe it just wasn't like they weren't aligned at that moment. And then, she also needed to maybe get confidence in herself to realize that, he does like me.
Definitely, definitely.
And then my number four is from Emma, the movie and book, Emma and Mr. Knightley. Um,
Mm.
it's also like Clueless, uh, Sher and Josh, to say, oh, it's basically the same couple. But also, it's the same thing as I should have actually gone with a more diverse list because it's actually literally the same story. The Emma's very self-indulgent. She does her own thing, and Mr. Knightley is always calling her out, and she's calling him out. And I also like couples with good banter, like it's the
Yeah.
same thing with Harry and Sally, like couples that are constantly like, like at each other, know what to say, like, or that's
There's
kind of
never
my
like a
vibe
dull
as well.
moment between them.
Yeah. Or they're always teasing each other, or it's like um and then my last one. Okay, I couldn't choose for this one, but okay, I'm gonna go with I wrote like an either or, but then I'm gonna go with so Rory and Jess from Gilmore Girls, my ultimate problematic ship. Um, like he's the worst, but I don't know what is wrong with me. But like the way I love the two of them together, and it's weird because when he first came into the show, he was like the bad boy, and
Yeah.
it was that sort
Oh,
of
there we
thrill.
go.
It was
There's
that
that.
thrill of of like, oh, her boyfriend seems so boring, and here comes this new guy who has this sort of like bad boy type vibes. But then, like, as they kept on checking in on him, as okay, first it was like very problematic, but I was still feeling it, so I'm not gonna lie and say I didn't like it. But
Mm.
when they kept on checking in on him as the show went on, and like he grew up, and just so like he just like glowed up.
Ages.
He became a better person.
Uh,
Yeah, and he just started like I don't know, apologizing for the mistakes he made, like, and just like he grew up. And like I do think I'm attracted to like growth. Like characters that grow, and if they
yeah,
grow with each other,
definitely.
that's even better. So
Because
so
I
so
think
yeah, so
that
I think that's
reflects in
my
real
vibe.
life. Yeah, so I think that's the reason why we like it is that that reflects in real life. Like we know that no one's like immediately perfect or like no one's
Mm,
immediately great. But when they like people grow and people change to be better, that's just like the best thing. And I'd rather people get together after the growth has happened than before.
yeah. So did you watch Gossip Girl?
I watched maybe one season because when it came out, when it was like playing on SABC3 and stuff, my mom
Mm.
decided that it was too much for me to watch, so I couldn't watch it. And I watched like one season, but I know things because of people like talking about it constantly and like the internet. I know about like the characters and some of the things that happen.
So I think a perfect example of what you were talking about, or what we were talking about, is Chuck and Blair. Like, if there was
Uh,
ever a couple that stagnated, who kept each other down, it was those two. And like, yes, they were toxic, but I'm if it's a good show, I'm willing to overlook like toxicness if it tells a story. But like
sometimes
for
you
them, it is
throw your
just keeping.
eyes away.
It's like for them, I felt like they were just keeping them together because they were fan favorites, and like
Mm,
they they were constantly keeping each other at their lowest instead of growing, and that frustrated me
yeah.
so much. Um, but yeah, so I think like yeah, so that was like I don't know why I was saying that. I was just saying like that's an example of a couple that doesn't grow together, or doesn't like when they're together they don't grow and become better. And I shipped it in the beginning as like, the bad boy option. But then I was just so tired of it. Like I was like, I can't deal with a character constantly regressing. It's
It gets
demotivating, and
tiring.
it's
It gets
yeah.
like grow up, please.
Okay, let's go through a few of we have like a little time left. A few of the listeners' suggestions.
All right.
Um, so the first one we got was Joey and Pacey from Dawson's Creek. What did you think of them? Did you watch Dawson's Creek?
I didn't watch Dawson's Creek
Oh,
like at all. Uh, yeah, I don't even know
oh,
the
sorry.
slightest thing about it.
Okay, so I watched Dawson's Creek, but like I watched it back in the day when it was on SABC 3, and I haven't watched it recently. But I did like this couple because so Joey was Dawson's best friend, but she was like in love with him.
mm,
You know the story, like but he only ever saw her as a friend. And
uh,
then Pacey was like Dawson's other best friend, and then Pacey started like noticing Joey, but it was very cute, and Pacey was almost like the goofy friend, but like the two
uh,
of them together were so adorable. So I was a big fan of that as well. I think it was like the only ship I had in that show. And then we have Jake and Amy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
babes.
Yes, definitely. Oh, I was like, they were so pure of a couple. Like, do you know what I
Yes.
mean?
They remind me of the thing that I was saying about David and Patrick, where they are very different, but they're not trying to change each other. Because
Mm.
Amy is nothing like Jake. Even like the first season, I think they spent that whole time just trying to tell us like, hey, these people are very different. Like Amy is order and like organization and like planning, and Jake is whatever he decides to be on that day, mixed with action movie references. But they try for each other. I really like how they try for each other. Like sometimes Amy will do like actiony things for Jake. Sometimes
Mm.
Jake will like when he like quotes he said he quoted a feminist blog or article he read, and then Amy just looked at him and she's like, I'm so in love with you.
Ah, no, I love him too. And I also love how Jake was like he was never ashamed of what he felt about Amy. Like
Yeah.
he just loves her. And he was always very open
Oh,
with that. Oh, I really do. Mm.
I'm
You know,
so
carry on?
glad that they got married.
Yeah, and now they do they have a
The
baby
baby,
already?
yeah, no, the end of the later season they
Oh
do end up
yes,
having.
because he was McLean was his name. And Boyle was like, Shirley. And I'm like, no, John.
That was such a chaotic episode.
Oh, when we were trying to get it to the hospital. Oh my gosh.
Everything was good. I was the whole time I was sitting there. I'm like, oh no, because you know how they do season finales. There's always something huge that happens that will kind
Mm.
of drag on to the next season. So the whole time they're trying to get to the hospital, I'm thinking, oh no, Jake's gonna get abducted or he's gonna be put in jail again. I was thinking of the worst.
Okay, let's do one final one.
Okay.
Okay. Gatsby and Daisy from The Great Gatsby.
If there's a toxic couple out there, it has to be these two.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
I
like I don't even know where to start.
I yeah, I don't know where to start. I find I don't like to shame people for the people that they ship or like the people that they like together. I
Mm.
don't like to tell people that they're wrong. However, I want people to understand that that was not a good thing. Like the thing what happened between them was not a good thing.
Yeah, like I don't know. But it's like we like they must have like whatever happened. And I really do love the book because I do think that they have so many like so many points of view. Because I mean we
Mm,
understand that Gatsby grew up poor and longing for this better life, and she represented this better life, and he assumed by
yes.
getting her he will get this life. And but also like I could never, I just used to get so pissed off with like hurt the way she treated him. But
Mm.
then she was also like a terrible human, like when she knocked over that lady
Yeah.
and she just drove on. Like I'm
That
like,
was
I know
that
that
was
that's got
such
nothing
a
to do with the
wild
couple. I just
thought.
can't get over that.
It was like, okay, everything's going kind of steadily wrong. Okay. Oh, and she's gonna hit a person. I was like, what? What?
And I know it's like a commentary on like the social class because they get away unscathed.
Yeah.
And I hope that that they both get like they die in a car. Okay, I know this is sounded rude. Probably edit that out. But I'm not gonna. I hope that they die, both of them, Tom and Daisy. I'm sorry. They're
uh,
fictional characters. Who cares?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. I think I would have felt better if it felt like Gatsby wasn't doing way too much for someone that didn't care. Like, guys, I know we laugh about it on the internet all the time, but those parties,
But so much. So
so much
much.
work for
But
someone that's
like,
just not looking at you.
but also like, after the second party, then surely you would have realized that maybe parties aren't a thing.
Like
Maybe
maybe
I should
try
try
sending
some
flowers.
other. Yeah. Or do you remember when you ordered flowers in the film with Leo, whatever, and then that entire room was full
Yes,
of flowers.
that okay. That
Oh
was
my
also
god.
thinking. He wasn't. I felt bad for Gatsby more than anything because it's like, oh, you love this girl so much, and she's really not giving you the time of day right
Mm.
now.
And also there must be something broken in him for him to have been
Yeah,
so obsessed with her.
I
And I
want
feel
him
like
to have
everything,
some tough conversations with himself.
yeah. But I mean, for her also, like, she probably liked the attention that she was getting from him that she wasn't getting from her husband. But but like I feel like therapy could have just solved everybody's problems. Like, okay, maybe not. Maybe a bad therapist might have made things worse.
Yes,
But like marriage therapy for Tom and Daisy, like
Tom was a
all
horrible
the therapy
person
for
though.
Gatsby. He was, no, really. But also, if we think about if the story is like from Nick's point of view, and Nick is
Mm.
obviously biased towards Gatsby.
Wasn't
So,
Daisy like his cousin or something?
yes.
Like, why
I
didn't he
think so,
care? Why
yes.
didn't he care for his cousin? Yeah, I know they were related somehow. I remember that was like Gatsby's appeal to him was like, oh, so you know Daisy?
Yes. You're right. And also like it makes me like but I also think Nick was a bit in love with Gatsby. I think that's the true romance of the of
Ooh,
the
I've never thought about
book. And
that.
because he was a little bit, I mean, he was the person who was thinking about Gatsby all those years later to write the story. So
Mm.
Jordan was just a beard. But yeah, that's my Gatsby hot take.
I see it. I definitely see it.
But Zama, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. Tell the
Thank you
listeners
so
where
much
they
for
can
having
find
me.
your podcast and
Okay,
you.
so yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Zama.x. I think I say it in the intro every single episode. You can also find Starring Cupid on Twitter at Starring Cupid. We're on Tumblr at Starring Cupid Podcast. I don't have an Instagram page because that's so much work. I really applaud you
It is.
and all the
That's so
work you
much
do. on-
work.
so much work. Like my Tumblr page is kind of my Instagram page for the podcast. You can find us on all streaming platforms at Starring Cupid. And yeah, that's me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
The podcast can be found at Crushing on Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find more information about this and all our other episodes at our website, crushingonpodcast.com, and send any feedback to crushingonpod@gmail.com. Join our Facebook group, Crushing on Club, where we chat about the show, celebrity news, recommendations, the whole shebang. Let us know what you think about what was discussed in this week's episode by sending us a voice note or email to crushingonpod@gmail.com. The show is produced by me, Karen, and Rebecca Barches. The show is edited and engineered by Rebecca Barches. Our logo was designed by Nathifa Maroof. And the show was created in partnership with IGN Africa. If you like the show, tell everyone that you can any way that you can. Keep up to date with all our episodes by subscribing to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And please rate and review the episodes on Apple Podcasts, as it helps others find the show. We'll be back next week with another in-depth conversation with a pop culture lover. See you then!